Coach Greg
versus.
Let's do it! Yeah!
What is up, YouTube? All right, super pumped for today's video. As you could tell, this is going to be a versus of Remington James versus Greg Doucette's Anabolic cookbooks. I'm going to be making 4 items from each recipe book, and we're gonna see whose is better. So if you don't mind, go ahead and give me a like on this video and subscribe if you are new, because I won't say it in the end because I always forget, and I appreciate all your guys' support. Let's just get into it. Let's just do it. All right, here it comes.
Round 1, fight!
All right, guys, so as you saw, we are doing pancakes now. So Greg Doucette has blueberry French toast pancakes, and then Remington James has chocolate chip pancakes. There's slight differences in the recipe, but I'm not gonna go over that because that's not what this is about. So for Greg's blueberry pancakes, we'll start with that one. Easy ingredients, to me, 5 out of 5, super easy because I already had everything. I didn't have to find anything special. Ease of prep, 4 out of 5. Only because with his, you have to let it sit in order for it to like thicken up. But it's not a pain to me. It's more like you just have to plan that you're gonna make it. You can cook them right away if you want to, but it's really runny and I don't recommend it. As far as protein in Greg's, it's 59 grams in the way that I made the recipe. So in his cookbook, it's a larger recipe, so I just cut it for me as if I were gonna be eating it for one person. So it was 59 grams of protein, 51 carbs, and 4 grams of fat, which is super great. With Remington's, ease of ingredients, I'm gonna go 4 out of 5. I don't know if it's the fact that it's Target versus Walmart, and Walmart does tend to have more that you can kind of choose from, but I had a hard time finding sugar-free chocolate chips. But I did find them at Walmart, which tends to be where he goes. So if you have a Walmart that's easy to get to for you, I say go there if you're gonna make anything from his cookbook, because Target doesn't have it. Ease of prep, super simple, 5 out of 5, no issues at all. His protein for the whole recipe is 49 grams, 9 grams of fat, and 529 calories. Not sure why I read that one. 63 carbs. So it's less protein, more carbs, but that's probably because they're chocolate. So, I mean, I'm all for that. So I'm gonna try Remington's right now. His seems a little bit more dense. I have made both of these before. But I feel like they always turn out a little bit different. I feel like humidity seems to play a big role in it. So, yeah, his are a little bit more dense and like spongy. It's not bad. And to be quite honest, I'm not a huge fan of blueberries, but I eat them every day. They're good for you. So for taste, I'm going 3 out of 5 for the chocolate chip pancakes from Remington, and 5 out of 5 for Greg's. And the reason is because Greg's is really airy and fluffy. I mean, it's eggy, right? They're both gonna be a little bit more on the eggier side because they're made with egg whites and bread. So it's not gonna be like the exact texture that you're looking for with like a regular pancake where it's more doughy. But his are airy and nice, and eating Remingtons are kind of like eating a shoe, but not. Like, I can't, if I have to compare them, I don't like his as much. It's nowhere near as good as Greg's. And it's gotta be the one missing ingredient from his. So what I would do in my kitchen is make Greg's pancakes with the added chocolate chips from Remington's. And to me, that would be the perfect pancake. But in this, clear winner, blueberry pancakes. So I will see you guys in a little bit for the next round.
Round 2. Fight!
All right, guys, so I just made pizzas from both. I'm at my sister-in-law's house. So I just made pizzas from both cookbooks. I made the flat out one from Greg's and then this deep dish from Remington's. I have to say it's not deep dish. That is nobody's deep dish. If that's somebody's deep dish, I'm very worried about their ability to measure. Anyway, so in Greg's, if you eat the whole pizza, you have 43 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fat, and 38 grams of protein. And then in Remington's, if you eat the whole thing, you have 10 grams of fat, 68 grams of protein, and 111 grams of carbohydrates. So as far as like ease of getting ingredients, I finally found the fat-free cheese singles, which is really exciting. So for Greg's, I'm giving it 5 out of 5. And then Remington's it's just pizza. Like, I am kind of confused how it's in any way not just a pizza. I mean, ease of getting ingredients was fine. 5 out of 5. Protein count, obviously Remington's is gonna be more, but it's also because it's bigger, not because there's anything specifically anabolic in the recipe itself. So protein count 5 out of 5 for Remington's, but I'd say 3 out of 5 for Greg's. However, you can make Greg's with whatever you want on the recipes or on the pizza. So it's like, if you want it to have more protein, you can. This is just how I chose to make mine. And then as far as how easy it is to make, it was a pain in the ass to make Remington's. Plus, you have to add water to it, and he doesn't have an exact amount of water that you're supposed to even start with. Like, there should be some kind of a starting point, and there was no starting point. It was just like, add water. Well, okay. At least I know how to cook, and I know how to bake, so I'm fine with, I make a lot of homemade breads and stuff, but like, if you're somebody who doesn't know how to cook, and you have no starting point for how much water you're supposed to put in this, then you're screwed. So I think as far as ease of creation, just because making the dough was such a pain in the butt, I'm giving this a 1 out of 5. Making Greg's was easy, really easy, 5 out of 5, because it's just the flat out one, you throw it in, it's done. So I'm gonna eat these and I will give a final review later.
Round 3. Fight!
Alright guys, so we are at the protein bar portion of our video. So I always have the Greg Doucette ones in my freezer. This is probably like the 3rd batch that I've made. This is the first time that I've ever made the Remington ones, and they're cookie dough protein bars, and then the ones from Greg Doucette are Score protein bars. This one looks a little bit funky. So I know mine don't turn out the same consistency as his because I use powdered Vitafiber instead of liquid, but I have a hard time getting a hold of the liquid one. So as far as ease of ingredients goes for Greg's, I had to order most of it online, which to me is not that big of a deal because I don't actually leave the house right now. So ease of ingredients, we'll go 5 out of 5, but if you're looking for this in a store, we'll go 3 out of 5. So kind of like a split deal there. Ease of prep, super easy to make these. It's basically just kind of dump it all together, throw it in the freezer, cut it up later. The cutting part is kind of difficult just because they're hard to cut if they're frozen and they're hard to cut if they're not. So it's just a mess, but that's not gonna take away my 5 out of 5 on ease of prep. So for the protein on the Score bars, it is 1,980 grams of protein for the whole bar. Now, I am gonna say that with the Greg Doucette ones, for the whole, oh gosh, that's still calories. It's 200 grams of protein for the whole bar, like the whole batch. But it's 331 grams of protein. He preaches high protein, or high fiber, it keeps you full, which is right, but this is condensed fiber. It's not like eating like broccoli and like carnivorous greens or whatever. Those are gonna keep you full, like salads and stuff like that. While fiber does keep you full, this could have an adverse effect and make your stomach hurt really bad if you're sensitive to certain things. So that is something to take into consideration, is how sensitive your stomach is to like a condensed amount of fiber. So if you eat like a normal protein bar and maybe you don't feel so great, it's probably the amount of fiber in it. So that's something that you're gonna wanna think of when you're making these, because you're gonna have to cut them into teeny tiny little pieces in order to keep the fiber content low, but then your protein is low, so it's all kind of like a lose-lose. If you're sensitive, not if you're not. And taste on these, I mean, I love these. This is a score bar. I made it with caramel syrup from Walden Farms instead of chocolate, because I had one open, even though I think I have 5 of each in my cupboard. I might have a Walden Farms problem. Now, as far as the Remington James ones, okay, look at this. It's stuck to my plate right now. Like, I can't get it off. They're really sticky. I noticed that when I was making it, like, I had to soak my blender, which is not something that I normally do. I usually clean things kind of right away, but I had to soak it overnight because it was so sticky and hard to kind of clean, and then it was also really hard to work with. So as far as ease of ingredients, I mean, there's nothing in here that's super special. There's sun butter in here, or sunflower butter or whatever. It was hard for me to find one that was sugar-free, which obviously I'm not gonna use one that has sugar in it, because that kind of defeats the purpose of the whole thing. But it was harder to find. It's time for bed. As far as ease of prep, I hated making these. I hated it. It was just a pain. They were just so sticky, and I don't know. I haven't tried them yet, so I don't know if I'm gonna like them as much, whether it's gonna be worth it or not. The protein in these, so it's 202 grams of protein, so it wins by 2 grams. 148 carbs, 85 fat, 53 grams of fiber for the whole thing. So that to me is a win. It's not as much fiber. I think that that's kind of important. So they taste good. They have a really good flavor. Really good flavor, actually. Would I make them again? Probably not. Mostly because when you add up the cost of the ingredients for these and figure out how much it is per that you're getting, so it's like you get 8 bars, works up to be like 4 something a bar, where the Greg Doucette ones are, they're not that much cheaper, they're like 3 something, but you can get Kirkland brand ones for $1 a bar. So I'm gonna keep buying them. I like the Greg Doucette ones, but I'm only continuing to make them because I have a mass purchased Vitafiber. But if you're looking for something that's cost effective, neither one of these is gonna be as good as buying a pre-made bar. They're both really tasty though. They both taste really good. But this is like a mess, right? I actually kept them in the freezer overnight and then I cut them, so I've kind of been manhandling them. Man, get it? Man, M-A-N-N, it's my last name. Maybe you kind of grabbed it out of the freezer and had it like wrapped. So I cut them up and put them in parchment paper. Maybe they'd work better then. But I do like it's like a nutty flavor. It's really good. I just don't like how messy it is because this is not something that I'm gonna wanna grab and go after the bar. And by bar, I mean gym. Oh, all right. Next round is dessert. And I'm excited.
Round 4. Finish him.
I'm so excited. Okay, so I got so excited that I accidentally cut my piece of Remington's before I got the picture of it. So then when I took the nice little rolly outy screen picture, I covered it in ice cream. We're using Halo Top peanut butter cup. So in this one, I'm also not going to be super concerned about the protein count because I made Greg's very controversial apple goop, and I'm super pumped about it. Actually, I've been wanting to make that, and I just never really got around to it. And then I made Remington's protein brownie, I don't remember what it's called. It's
a few moments later.
It's the Anabolic protein sundae. So now both of these are desserts. So I'm just, like I said, I'm not gonna worry about the protein because it's not really a fair advantage. I was gonna make the lava cake from Greg Doucette, but this sounded better to me, so I went with that. And yeah. So let's try it out. I wanted it to be so much better. It's just not very sweet. Let's see if we can fix it. So as far as any of these recipes went, I made no modifications, except for on the Greg Doucette pizza because I didn't have bison. So I made like a chicken pizza. But like, as far as like the cooking recipes, I didn't change anything. Where I probably, if it was for myself all the time, I normally would. I would definitely change things up to be for my specifications, and that's how these are supposed to work, right? It's supposed to be what works for you. There's no rules, yada, yada, yada. Yep, that's better. So I buy my Swerve like big like this, so it's possible that I didn't put in enough. However, they do make brown sugar Swerve, which would probably be super good in this. And another thing that I think might be good would be like somehow so you have to put rolled oats in it, and instead of just putting them all in there, to maybe bake some to incorporate on top so that it's like crumbly. But this would probably be really good like in yogurt for breakfast. I mean, it has a lot of possibilities. You can eat it like this, it's super good. There's just a lot of variations that you can do with this. So I'm giving this 5 out of 5 for taste. Like I said, 5 out of 5 for ingredients because it was easy to get. Prep didn't bother me because I bake a lot, so coring apples and peeling apples doesn't take me time. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. So it was 5 apples, like 5 medium-sized apples, and then I threw it in the microwave for 15 minutes, stirred it up, and then threw it in for another 15 minutes because apparently you're supposed to microwave it for 30 minutes. I would put it on the stove personally because who wants to nuke something for 30 minutes? But, you know, do it however you want. Okay, let's get into the Anabolic brownie sundae. I'm really excited about this. Oh yeah. It's so good. It's so freaking good. And it's so good with the peanut butter ice cream on top, because I was worried that this was going to be too chocolatey, which is not normally something that I would say. But I have made something similar to this before, my own recipe, and it was a little bit too chocolatey for my preference. But the ice cream really cuts it nice. This is probably the best thing I've made next to the pizza. Wow. And like, you could eat the whole thing and it wouldn't even matter. I mean, it would, if you're trying to lose weight. It still matters. Like, how many calories are in this? Let's see. So 560 calories, you know, it's not that bad. So I guess it wouldn't matter. You could replace a meal. So I eat 5 meals a day, and I could replace my final meal with this whole thing and still be within my caloric intake for the day at 1,750 calories. That's good. I'm for sure going to be making that again. I'll also make the apple goop again, but I'll probably modify it a little bit. Just using a different type of sweetener, because I think brown sugar sweetener will make it probably taste better. Alright guys, so let's go over this. So let's go over the pros and cons of each book. So let's start with Remington. Pros about Remington's. His ingredients, for me, because I live in America, are easy to find. Now, just because I live in the middle of nowhere, it doesn't mean that I can't make that extra couple minutes to go to the right stores to get what I need. So easy of ingredients is like number one. You can make all of his stuff pretty easily so long as you live by a Walmart. In his book, you'll get more recipes, so then that means that there's more variety, and that kind of is on you personally. So for me, I like to have the option to make a lot of things, but during the week, I'm gonna stick to kind of like my favorites. So like on the weekends, I might explore new things, but as far as like during the week goes, I'm gonna stick to simpler things. As far as cons go for Remington's book, I feel like the recipes tend to need more work. Like you have to put in more work to most of his recipes, or they come with a lot of ingredients where if you don't cook like this normally, you're going to have to buy a lot of ingredients. I personally cook like this already, so I have most of the stuff in the house. So as far as like buying extra things, I don't have to worry about, but if you're starting off kind of new, trying to get into a healthier lifestyle, you're gonna have to make a bigger investment right off the bat, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but to me, I also like to do things that are like less ingredients. So some of his stuff, like the popcorn chicken, super easy. I made that in my previous video on him, which I'll link in the description below. I'll also link into the description below my review on Greg's. So there's also, in some of his recipes, I did run across a couple of them that had some missing information. So like when I made the pizza and it didn't tell me how much water to put in it, that's really frustrating, because if I'm halfway through the recipe, which you should read a recipe like from beginning to end before you start it, but that's not my game. That's not how I roll. I kind of start and I'm like, oh, I have all this stuff. Let's get into it and then see what I'm gonna do. So I'm halfway through this recipe and I have to wing it because all the information isn't there. And you know, I don't know how long it took him to put the book together, and I can't imagine that it was easy. So if a couple things are missing, that's not a big deal. That is something that's easily like, hey bro, you missed something, so then he can go in and fix it. And it, you know, that's not gonna be a make or break for me. But it is on the con side for me. So let's go over to Greg. So in Greg's book, his pros, the recipes are easier. They're not as innovative, but they're easier. And sometimes that's nice. I like it when things are a little bit on the easy side. Like I said, during the week, I do work, I have 2 kids, so it's like I come home and if I want to try something different, but I don't want to work real hard, I'm gonna probably, I'm looking for a word. What word am I looking for? Gravitate. I'm gonna gravitate more towards Greg's recipe book instead of Remington's because I don't have to work that hard. His foods are faster to make because they are easier. You might only have like 3 or 4 ingredients, so it's gonna be faster. It's good for meal prepping, which I don't do personally, but that's not me. And for like after work, if you're a busy individual, even if you live by yourself and it's just you, but you just worked, you know, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then you had to take the train home for an hour. Like, you don't want to come home and cook, but you also don't want to eat out. So it's kind of nice to have something that's easier but healthy, or something already prepped. I guess he preps his French toast and, you know, eats it kind of all week. I have the time to cook, so I don't meal prep. As far as cons go, his ingredients are harder to find, and I don't know that it's necessarily because he's from Canada and that the things are sold in the stores up there versus here. I don't think that that's the case. I think what it is that a lot of the stuff is bought online. And I've been looking for some of like the protein breads and like the wraps and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's just because of the particular state that we're in right now, that most things are sold out, but most things are sold out. So I have had the book since my birthday. It's been almost a month, or like, you know, like my birthday week. So it's been about a month, and I've been looking for some of the things, like some of the pastas, some of the breads, and I can't get them. I haven't been able to get the lavish breads ever. So it's just kind of a bummer, but like I said, I don't know necessarily that that is because of anything other than the fact that we're in a global pandemic. So, you know, their sites might be closed down or they're running shorter staff. So the things that he uses in his book are just not readily available at this time. And I don't know if it's going to be different or if it was different in the past. I can't answer that question. I feel like, okay, the whole aspect of both of these books, if you watch these guys on YouTube, they're gonna say like, there's no rules in the kitchen, kind of like make things how you want them. You know, if you wanna make French toast with whole eggs, which makes no sense because it's anabolic French toast and we're trying to not have a lot of fat in it, but if you wanna do that, feel free. It's on you. It's your diet, it's your calories, it's however you wanna do it. But I feel like some of the recipes in Greg's book can be rewritten to either make it a little bit easier or like taste slightly better. I feel like there's been 60 videos on the apple goop, and if it was made right, people weren't super pumped on it. Now, I think it is like written the way that he likes to eat these things, and that's totally fine. Obviously, it's his book, but there are things like you could put in like disclaimers like, oh, you could add this, or you could add that. This is what some people do, just to give ideas on how it would make it more appealing or pleasing to a majority of people versus like, you know, 2. I don't know. You guys are gonna rip on me. I'm not gonna pick a winner. And the reason that I'm not gonna pick a winner is because I absolutely 100% believe in both of these books. I think that both of these books should be purchased. If you're going to only purchase one, here's my recommendation. Watch this video and take from it what works for you. If you are a stay-at-home mom and you want to put some extra time into this stuff and you want to feed your kids, you know, 10 new recipes, and they're picky, like my kid, she's so picky. And that's not to say that either book is better than the other, but she ate more of Remington stuff than she did of Greg's. And I offered her both of everything that I made. And whenever I make this stuff, I always offer it to her because I'm trying to get her to eat foods other than rice and pasta and fruit. But she did gravitate more towards his recipes. And I don't really know why that is, but if you want to if that's gonna work in your lifestyle, then go for Remingtons. If you're somebody who wants something that's really easy, or you're not super great at cooking, or you don't want to put in a ton of effort, like, then go for Greg's. If you, I don't know. You have to watch the video and you have to decide based off of what's gonna be best for you. Because in my life, both of these books work, and both of these books are great for me because I can take from which that I want. And I own both books. I bought both books, so I'm going to use both books. You got to do what's best for you. If you have questions, find me on Instagram, shoot me a DM, and I will answer them. Or throw a comment down below. I'll answer what I can. I feel like everybody's going to want a winner, and there's just not a clear winner to me because it is such a personal choice. Like, it's kind of like when you go to the store and you decide to pick this book over that book. Why? That's going to be on you. So I'm sorry that there's no clear winner, but it is personal for everybody. And I think both books are phenomenal. There's pros and cons to both. And there's pros and cons to both depending on your lifestyle. So I hope this helps. I hope this helps. I'm gonna link both down in the description box below so you can buy whichever one you choose. Don't try and steal it because that's shitty. These guys worked really hard on these. I know that there are people who post this in the interwebs, and just don't do that. Realize that both of these guys have put a lot of work into this so that everybody can be healthier, and you know, you got to give them their credit for that. So like I said, I'll put the links in the description below. I will hope that you guys all buy one or both, but if not, that's okay too. So anyway, it has been a very long weekend. So I'm gonna go to sleep. It's 8:45. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.